mixed. I'm not mixed, but so I started telling him now I'm 5% Mexican, 3% Asian, and 11 inches African. And I was telling that to a black coworker the other day. He's like, "Shit, man, that small amount of African, I wouldn't be bragging." Speaking of work, I work with a little Vietnamese guy, real nice guy. I was eyeballing him the other day because we're about the same age. Yeah, well, why you look at me? Well, fuck, we might be brothers. Dad served over in Vietnam and he loved Vietnam horse. Odds are we could be brothers. Found out this one backfired on me because he comes up to me the other day at work in front of I'm a truck driver by real trade. Bunch of hardened truck drivers in the room. He starts hitting me in the back. And all these guys are looking at him. Why are you hitting him? Oh, it's okay. We're brothers. I can beat him anytime I want. That fucking Vietnamese accent ain't fucking very good right now because everybody thinks we're lovers. I'm your bitch. Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook nowadays, right? I hate it. I was playing a game on Facebook, $100,000 pyramid. And the category was your body does this without you thinking. And I'm just getting ready. It says you do this after you chew. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I know the answer. But just as I'm typing in the answer, one of my wife's best friends IMs me. It moves the cursor from the game to the IM. My response was spit swallow. Her response was, that's none of your business. That's between my husband and I. I'm screaming for my wife to get in the room so I can prove that I'm not trying to hit on her friend. As I'm yelling for my wife, I hear my wife's cell phone ring. And my wife finally comes in and I'm explaining myself to her and she's explaining to her friend on the phone what happened and her friend's like, well, go ahead, believe him if you want to. About 11 o'clock that night I get a phone call from her. She got the same question and answered it the same way. Dodge that bullet. The other thing I found about Facebook too I like is I got a couple of hot friends on Facebook, female friends. And I found a way of boosting my ego. You're one of my hot friends. This might work for you too, because I poked you. But I like to boost my ego on Facebook by sending pokes to people, because after you do it, it says, congratulations, you just poked so-and-so. Yes, I've always wanted to poke her. Now it says it in writing, I did. Or cord. But I poked you in real life before.
Once or twice.
I'm 6'2", 255 pounds. I got the bald head goatee. I know I try to be a wannabe tough guy. I'm really a hand-fed bear, really gentle and nice. But when you look like this, there's some things in life that are simple to go in and just pick out on your own and not have any problems, like tampons. No issue. You walk around the store with that little box, big deal. Nobody in the store thinks you're going to use those. Find the hot cashier, put it down in front of her. She's like, oh, my boyfriend would never do that. I'm like, I know, I'm a nice guy. The other day for my anniversary, I tried to surprise my wife by buying a vibrator by myself. A little tougher. As you're standing there looking at the wall of vibrators, trying to figure out what color you want, that horny little couple comes in and they're like, oh my god, that guy sticks things in his ass? And I'm like, okay, find the one I want. And you walk up to pay for it, and they always ask you the same thing as you're paying for it is, did you find everything you were looking for today? It's like, oh, this ain't for me. And she's like, no, we don't judge here. It's okay, sir. Fuck, just hurry up, you're trying to get out of there. And she bags it up and pay for it. And just as you're grabbing to walk out the door, she asks, do you want some free lube? And you're like, yeah. Not help. As I said, I've been married, my wonderful wife. She's put up with me for 16 years. Come on, a round of applause for her. Thank you. But she come up to me at this game the other day. I don't know if any other couples have played it. The One. Basically, who's the one person that if they wanted to sleep with me, she'd have to let them? I'm like, well, I've never really given it much thought, whore, but obviously you have, so why don't you start? And hers was George Clooney, and I'm like, yeah, I can understand that. George is hot, whatever, da-da-da. And she's like, well, who's yours? Jessica Simpson? I'm like, no. Cord? No. So I keep my goals low and obtainable. Anyone who's willing. Way low. Where's Dale? Dale, you need to hook up tonight.
Super.
Super. Yeah. I thought one of these days I'm just gonna come up on stage and hello folks, how y'all doing? Just to fuck with everybody. As I said, I'm a truck driver. And I was at a customer there.
Yeah, right.
I had a great experience. The little lady that was the receptionist, she didn't have my paperwork ready, so she's like, "Do you mind if we wait for a few minutes?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can, no problem." Well, there's a group of guys in the back room, and they're like, "Fuck this, fuck that, da da." And she goes out there and she's like, "Guys, calm down. We have a gentleman out front here. Keep the language down." And the one guy, he kind of comes out, peeks his head out. He's like, "I don't see a gentleman. I see a tough guy." I'm like, "All right, here we go. This is where I shine." And he comes up to me and goes, "Are you a gentleman or are you a tough guy?" I said, "I'm both." He goes, "Fuck that." He says, "Just because the lady's here, don't fucking try to impress her. Answer the goddamn question." I said, "I'm both." "Fuck you. There's no way you can be both. Pick one." I'm like, "No, dude, I'm both. I've been told the first 6 inches is gentle. It's the next 4 that get a little tough." He looks at me and goes, "You trying to tell me you got a 10-inch cock?" I'm like, "I'm not trying. I just did." Puts a $50 bill on the counter. He says, "I got $50 and says I'm bigger than you." And this is where I borrowed a line from Milton Berle. I said, "Okay, dude, but I'm just going to pull out enough to take your $50. Bought my wife dinner that night. All right, I'm going to end on Tammy's favorite joke. Everybody in here's had a bad one-night stand. I'm going to tell you about mine. Unfortunately, no, Cord's been a 2-night stand. So. Cord's an ongoing fling. Yes, it
Only in
is.
the trunk, man. Only in the trunk.
Wow, got quiet. Now I gotta fill them in on this one. We were at a bar one night and we were fucking around. There's these 2 guys and they leaving the bar, and as they're leaving, they got in the trunk of the car. They shut the lid and then somebody else drove off with them. We were like, "What? That's kind of strange."
They were spooted.
Yeah, hardcore. But no, I met this girl back in my single days at the bar, and she was way out of my league, so I wanted to really impress her, so I brought the A game that night. And I was drunk as shit that night. I mean, really bad. I was surprised I could even perform. But the next morning, as I did that drunk stumble into her bathroom, half hungover, half awake, eyes closed, I was sitting there peeing in her tub. And I looked down, and I'm like, "Holy shit, did we get freaky last night? We used a jelly donut in our escapades." And I started walking over to the mirror, and as I'm washing my hands, I looked, I'm like, "Holy shit, I was really drunk. I don't even like jelly donuts, and I ate one." I'm still trying to figure out how I got the peanut butter on my forehead. You guys have been great, thank you.